Today, we're gonna hit the trails. Good morning, YouTube. What's up, everybody? I hope you're safe and healthy and happy and doing okay. Yes, you heard me right. Today we're gonna be talking about a topic that I don't normally talk about very much at all. And that topic is trail shoes. Now, the reason I don't talk about them that much is because I will be honest with you, I don't do a ton of trail running, but I do dabble here and there, and there are a couple trail shoes that I really like, so I figured why not put a video together of those shoes. And plus you guys asked me what my favorite trail shoes are, so asking you shall receive. Now, just keep in mind when I'm running on trails, they're not super technical, they're pretty buffed out. So these might not be for you exactly, but they work for what's around here for me. And I also find that all of these shoes are pretty good at transitioning to roads. So if you're doing some kind of run that has some trails and some roads mixed in, I think any of these shoes would be able to perform pretty well. Anyways, before we get to talking about the actual shoes, first you have to watch the running footage of the shoes, as usual. Before we get started today, I do want to let you know that these shoes were sent to me by the brands and by Running Warehouse. However, none of the companies are going to see this before you. They can't tell me what to say, and all of my opinions are completely my own. So we're going to talk about like 3.5 trail shoes today. You'll see what I mean by that. But they're not ranked in any specific order, and I'll tell you what I like and dislike about each shoe. So let's get started. The first shoe on the list today is the HOKA TECTON X. I've tried a couple of HOKA trail shoes in the past, and the TECTON X is by far my favorite one that I've tried so far. It's interesting because HOKA markets this as a trail racer, but I certainly have not done any racing in the shoe, and I like it just the same. The reasoning for the race vibe of this shoe is that it has parallel carbon fiber plates in the midsole to help you with propulsion and just going faster. But what I really like about this shoe is the midsole. It has a nice amount of cushioning under your foot. It's got that Pro Fly X foam that we really like from HOKA, and the carbon plate with that gives you a nice toe off and turnover in your stride. Because it is a higher stack, you'd be a little bit worried on trails if you step on a route wrong, step on any kind of funky surface, that you'd roll your ankle because you're sitting up higher on a platform. But I actually feel pretty stable on the ground in this shoe, which is always something that I'm concerned about when trail running. The only thing I don't really like about this shoe is the upper of it. I find that it is a little bit long in the toes, and it has this lacing system here that reminds me of like a Nike Foamposite shoe. I don't know who knows about those, but I don't know. I don't really like this. It causes like extra material to bunch up here, and I think like the tongue situation with this, it doesn't sit perfectly on my foot, and I can never get it to feel really perfect. And I gotta really cinch down these laces to get a good fit. So the upper of this I'm not a huge fan of. I think the HOKA TECTON X2 is coming out shortly, so we'll see if they alleviated that problem. I also think if we turn the shoe this way, it's a little bit narrow there, so I don't know if it would be accommodating to every foot type, but for my narrow foot, that works just fine. It's funny because when I review road running shoes, I feel like the outsole is like really not important. I mean, it is to a degree, but in trail shoes, it is really important because they have lugs. that help with traction. I think these lugs are decent. Again, I'm not doing anything super technical, but I'm not really sure that the TECTON X's outsole would be the perfect outsole for something very technical. For me, on those buffed out trails, it's able to get a nice grip on that sand and dirt and all that sort of stuff. But it doesn't seem like as grippy as the other shoes that I'm about to talk about. If you are a very seasoned trail runner and you have run in this shoe before on technical trails, please let me know how it does. Because I'm a little skeptical about that. I do think that this shoe would be pretty good, and has been pretty good to me, on like road to trail runs, if that's something that you do. The TECTON X is currently on sale at runningwarehouse.com. It was originally $200, which I think is way overpriced for this, but now it's $139.95, and that is the perfect price for this shoe. So if you're looking for a little more max cushion with some flair because of those carbon plates, I think that you should take a look at the HOKA TECTON X because I have really been enjoying it. Next up on the list is the SAUCONY Ride 15 TR, or Trail. Not exactly sure. Recently, I took this shoe sort of out of the box on an 8-mile run in the trails, and it felt great. Like, it really exceeded my expectations. I was not expecting it to feel as good as it did. It's sort of the opposite of the TECTON X when it comes to the midsole, because you're a lot lower to the ground here, at least it feels that way to me, and there's a little more ground feel, which I actually like better in a trail shoe. Normally on the road, I like all the cushion I can get, but on the trail, I do kind of want to feel the ground a little bit, and you'll get that here. Don't get me wrong, it's super protective. It has that Power Run midsole, and you feel a nice like protective squish to it, but it is a little bit more responsive. I'm able to get a better fit in this upper through the midfoot. It doesn't have any of that excess material that the TECTON X does, but I do think that this shoe is a little bit short in the toe. I would still get true to size, but it's not too much wiggle room as far as the toe box goes, lengthwise at least. In the forefoot of the shoe, I feel like I have a nice amount of room widthwise though. Once I laced it up, got the fit I wanted, it was kind of set it and forget it, and we like that, or at least I do. Probably part of the reason I love it so much is because I love the Ride 15 and 16, the road shoe, and this has a very similar feel to that. They just kind of beefed it up and made it a little more rugged. Speaking of rugged, the outsole. These lugs here feel just a bit more aggressive than the TECTON X. I feel like this shoe could handle a more technical trail a little bit better. I don't know, I just felt like they sunk into that dirt and that sand and gave me an even better hold on the ground. But when I was on roads with this shoe, I didn't feel like they got in the way and dampened the ride at all. So again, this would definitely be a good shoe for that sort of hybrid route that you might have. On runningwarehouse.com, the Saucony Ride 15 TR is also $139.95. So pretty good. I mean, $140 for two of these shoes on the list. We're doing all right, not bad. But yeah, if you're primarily a road runner and you want something basic and simple that's gonna get the job done on the trails, I think the Saucony Ride TR is a pretty safe bet. And the last, but certainly not least by any means on the list, is the Salomon Ultra Glide 2. Here in the midsole, they're using their Energy Surge foam. In terms of cushioning, I think it sort of sits in the middle between the TECTON X, which has all that like max cushion feel, and the Ride 15, which is much lower to the ground in terms of feel. This is kind of the middle ground shoe. I actually got this shoe when I went to San Luis Obispo. Running Warehouse provided me this pair, and we did a lot of kind of trail running and climbing up a sand dune, which I'm sure you'll be seeing soon. And it really did perform well for that, and I didn't know that any shoe really could, because climbing up a sand dune is next to impossible. But it did hold up pretty well, and I recently took it out on the trail and it felt great. Really able to grip onto surfaces and just provide me with protection from the trail. The only place that this shoe kind of loses me is the upper. Now, in the one, which I used quite a bit, as you can see, it is very dirty. Haven't used it in a little while, but this was kind of my go-to trail shoe for last year. I was able to get a better fit in the Ultra Glide one. It just felt, I don't know, a little bit tighter to my foot and more narrow-ish, I guess. But the only problem with that shoe was that on my pinky toe, I was getting some rubbing and irritation here. So after about 5 miles in it, it would start to cause a lot of discomfort. In the Ultra Glide 2, it seems like they fixed that. Maybe other people had that problem, but I don't have any of that rubbing sensation anymore. But it feels like they opened up this forefoot a lot, and that might be great for some people, but for me, it just feels way too roomy, and they're the same exact size, I checked. It just feels way too roomy and like a platypus. I also do not like these lacing systems from Salomon. Bless you. I know that all the cool trail people like this. I just don't really get along with it. And I think on my other shoe, my left shoe, it's like jammed. I can't get it to open up. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. When we turn it to the outsole, there is no better outsole in this list of shoes for trail than this one. It by far has the best grip and gives me the most confidence on the trail of any of these 3 shoes. No doubt in my mind, this thing handles the really buffed out trails that I run and could absolutely handle something more technical. And it also, believe it or not, feels fine on the road. The Salomon Ultra Glide 2 is available on Running Warehouse right now for $149.95, and the Ultra Glide 1 is discounted for $79.88. Still a really good shoe, so it's kind of hard to beat. Any shoe you pick on this list, I think will get the job done. You'll be happy with them. So if you're interested in picking up any of these 3 shoes, or 4 technically, from this list, you can do so on runningwarehouse.com. I'll put links in the description of this video so you can click those and pick up your own pair. Just keep in mind, these are affiliate links with Running Warehouse. However, it doesn't mean much for you. It just helps out my channel so I can keep making these videos and hitting those trails. Again, trail running isn't really my primary form of running, but I've been trying to do it a little bit more. And I think this sort of video would be helpful for somebody who is a beginner, who's just starting out, has no idea where to start. I think any of these shoes could be a good starting point. If you have a favorite trail shoe, please comment down below and list it. I would love to know what I should be looking at for some further videos. Well, everyone, that concludes my video of top trail shoe picks. If you enjoyed it, please like it down below and subscribe. And when you're done with all that, hit the notifications bell so you can find out every time I upload a new video. And please make sure to follow me on Instagram at RunLikeKeller. I'm trying to get to 10K followers, so please help me do that at RunLikeKeller. Go follow me. I would really appreciate it. I have another video for you next week, but in the meantime, get out there, get on the grind, and don't forget to run like Keller. See you next time. Oh, there she is. Say hi to your friends. Okay. What's up with that tongue? It's like a lizard tongue.